So the deck list, I know a lot of you guys are probably at work, or you guys are probably in an environment where you don't feel like broadcasting an entire video, or you have limited data, etc., etc. Any reason that you just want to have the deck list and not want to watch the video, just email me at davidtdo7@live.com. I'll be happy to answer, or just send you the link with the visual display of the deck, and you can just simply click on it and then be able to look at the deck rather than watch the whole video. Even when you're deck building, probably if you want to copy it as well. So onwards. Welcome to the other Janemba deck segment plus explanation. You're probably wondering why I'm using a PowerPoint slide to explain this deck profile. Well, actually, as a college student, I use a YouTube series called Khan Academy. You guys may have heard of it, where a guy named Khan, I believe, explains complex phenomenons or complex details about any subject so that students can understand it better. So I figure I can try to do or mock the same kind of thing that he has going for complex subject matter. So for some of you guys, this game might be a little bit more complicated. For many of you guys, if you guys are novices, you're probably wondering how to even approach the game. So take it from someone who has played since set 1, how to deck build, and especially how to deck build for leaders that aren't as common, so that you'll know how to take any new leader that comes out into the card pool or announced by Bandai on what to do to deck build properly. So for my locals challenge, I took the other Janemba leader. I'm sure there's plenty of Janemba leaders with the mill Janemba, where you mill the top 2 cards of your deck. This is not that Janemba. This is a different Janemba. So we're going to go into this video right now. So what are we going to go over in this video? If you want to watch just the match portion of this video, an annotation should appear on the upper right hand corner of the screen, and then it says the word Janemba matches. Simply click on it and you'll be able to go to watch the matches in a different video. This video will cover reasons why this particular Janemba is good or decent, and how to think about approaching other leaders. If you guys just want to see the deck profile, you can also just check the comment section where they'll have a little time skip. Just simply hit the time skip to head to the deck profile. But if you want to hear how or why you should play Janemba, or how to think about approaching this leader when deck building, this is the portion for it. So yeah, then part 2, we're gonna check out the deck profile. So why would you want to play this particular leader? For starters, he's a blue leader. A blue leader in this game is probably one of the best, just because it has access to many different cards that allow you to play defensively, as well as utilize energy offensively as well. So cards that you can access as a blue leader is Awe-Inspiring Intimidator Vegito. We all know how good he is. When you have a blue leader and he's in rest mode, he has barrier. He protects your leader from being attacked, basically. Since this game doesn't have any sort of Yu-Gi-Oh like concept where all of the monsters on the board have to be cleared before you can attack directly, this game does not have such thing where even if you have battle cards, you still have to attack. You can still attack the leader card directly. So having access to cards like this definitely help you prolong the game to its later stages, especially if you're building a long-term strategy game. The other one is Unyielding Spirit Trunks, which allows you to untap energy, which allows you to also extend your plays, being a blue leader. And then Dimension Magic. Dimension Magic is a really good card because only a blue leader can access it, and you can untap an extra energy for more defense. And on top of that, if it doesn't really captivate you, you can activate this, taking a life instead, and be able to essentially tap out safely, take a life instead, and then untap 2 energy so that you could play defensively. So a lot of good defensive options for blue. And then of course with the addition of set 5, we have Deadly Defender Vegeta, which acts exactly the same as Awe-Inspiring Intimidator Vegito, but he's a 3 cost, which you can play him a turn earlier, and he also has barrier as well. So nearly identical, except minus 5k stat, and that's basically it. And also, he's a 3 cost, which makes it very affordable. And earlier you can drop it. And then you have a Raging Spirit Sun Gohan. So this is kind of how you want to approach when you approach a certain color leader. You have access to different cards. Make sure that you know about these options and decide on which type of build you want to build. And of course, with Senzu Bean, so if you're building like a mono blue deck, Senzu Bean is definitely going to be a staple. So all the cards I mentioned just allows you to go further into your turns to drop bigger and cooler threats. More on that later. So the second pro is it has a Burst 2 mechanic. The Burst 2 mechanic is really interesting because it mills the top 2 cards of your deck and to activate the skill, and then you attack and you draw a card. What does this mean? So what this means is that you could, let's take this scenario here where you have Janemba and you have a rest mode. Well, they have a rest mode Dark Power Black Mass Saiyan, and they also have a rested leader. It actually doesn't matter if it's rest or not. Janemba here could either swing into the Dark Power Black Mass Saiyan and mill 2 and draw 1, or it can attack the Hirudegarn and still produce the same result, which allows you to burst. Many other leaders before set 5, you had to attack the leader only in order to gain an advantage. So that put a little damper on certain strategies. But the maybe a downside to this, being able to choose these between the two with Janemba, is that you have to mill the top 2 cards. But if you build a deck around that little mechanic, being able to mill cards into your drop area, you can utilize it to play different strategies in your deck. Burst also helps you with other things too. So if you're thinking about playing a super combo that has Sparking 5, then you can definitely play it with a Burst leader, because milling the top 2 cards helps you get closer to being able to use Sparking 5. And then of course there's another one where Dimensional Magic, if you are tapped out or if you just want to take a life instead, you could definitely use the Sparking 5 as well, and then take a card out of your life rather than using energy. So it has sort of like I think Magic the Gathering had a whole set called Pyrexia where you can just pay life instead. So sort of the same concept, but Dragon Ball only gives you 8 life, not 20 or 20 plus. There's nothing that allows you to heal yet. Yeah, so you can activate Sparking 5 and 10. Depending on what you're building your deck around. So that's what Burst can help you do. Pros. Another pro is that it's an untapped 2 leader. So very generic. Used to be in set 1 and set 2. You're able to awaken and draw 2 cards. Nowadays it's becoming more and more uncommon for you to draw 2 cards when you awaken, and instead untap 2 energy. So yeah, tap 2 energy. So we all know how good that is. So in the same scenario where you have 4 energy and you have 4 life and he's unawakened, you can tap out 4 energy and then play something like Awe-Inspiring Vegito, and then awaken Janemba, and then untap 2 energy. And then you can also use Senzu Bean to defend your guy as well. So having the 2 extra energy allows you to play stuff like Senzu Bean to protect your Vegito. So now this wraps up why you should play blue leaders. And then and of course for Janemba specifically, he also gets a +5 K boost when attacking, and he also has critical. So I don't know if you guys can read it, but basically if you have 5 cards in your drop area and he attacks, you get to have +5 power and critical. So what I don't recommend you doing with this leader is playing when he's awakened, playing overwhelm cards, because then you warp all your battle cards in drop area, and he's going to be unable to trigger his +5 ability or even draw. So be careful with that when deck building with this particular Janemba. So yeah, in the next portion of the video, you'll see the deck profile, and I'll cover how I approached this particular leader and what cards I used to maximize his potential. Alright, so see you guys on the next segment. Hey guys, so this is going to be the deck profile portion of the video. I'll just show you what I came up with for this Janemba, what design I decided to do for the deck. So I decided to play a fusion sort of theme for this deck. So you'll get to see very shortly what I mean. To start off, I want to show you guys the ramping strategy that I played. I didn't play Objection, so instead I decided to play something along the lines of Majin Defiler at 4. This is a card that it's kind of like Birds of Paradise in Magic, where you can tap itself for energy and then use it for any card that you want to use. So any card that you want to use on your opponent's turn to combo or to use as an extra card, you can use this card to ramp early, or you can use it on your turn to play bigger threats. In order for me to utilize this properly, you want to be able to do this on turn 2. So in the event that you don't have it on turn 2, you can actually play that on turn 4 with Figures of Majesty. The Figures of Majesty revives any 2-cost battle card from the drop area. So if she's in your drop area because you milled her with the Janemba leader, then you could, or if you combo with her because you had extras in your hand, you can actually revive her, and Figures of Majesty becomes a ramping card that you can use to draw a card and then play a card that helps you ramp for the next turn. So it serves a lot of purposes. Any mill deck or anything that requires you to put cards into the drop area, you can revive it with Figures of Majesty. So this is kind of like a pseudo Figures of Majesty deck. The trick I found with Majin Defiler is that you can play it with cards like what is it? With Zarbon. So Zarbon is one of the interesting cards in set 1 that came out. It was used in like very weird strategies, and this is it's reoccurring itself in today's metagame as another weird card, but it's effective in a different way. So you guys are all familiar with what Unyielding Trunks does. Unyielding Trunks is a card that allows you to untap an energy on your turn, but this card comboed with this battle card, Defiler, you make this combo into an Unyielding Trunks on your opponent's turn. I'll show you an example. So say you're going to use a super combo, right? Say you have a super combo in your hand, and you have this guy in your hand, right? So let's say you have both these cards in your hand, and then you have a Majin Defiler that's active, and they attack your leader for 25. So let's say your leader's Awakened, and your opponent attacks you for 25k. What you can do with these 2 cards in your hand is you can activate Infernal Villainy Cell, tap her, draw a card, and then he goes to 25k, but you need 5 more k. So what you can do is you can combo Zarbon, and Zarbon would then in turn put her back into active mode, and then now you've essentially kept her from being being targeted for a battle card attack, and she was active the entire time this occurred. So now your leader's at 30k, and you never had to spend an actual energy to do the Inferno Villainy combo. So that's just one instance you can do. Other instances you can do is obviously Senzu Bean as well. So let's say you had Senzu Bean. I do play Senzu Bean. So with Senzu Bean, say that you had 2 2 energies that were tapped, right? So let's say these, say that you had 2 energies that were blue. So you have 2 energy that were blue, right? And you have her in active mode. What you can do is Senzu Bean, tap her, untap the 2 energy, right, and onto your leader. Let's say you put on your leader, and then you go a Doria. You combo the Doria, so now you combo to 25k, and then you can keep her back in active mode. So the Doria coupled with the Defiler acts as an Unyielding Trunks on your opponent's turn as well. So it's really cool little interaction you can do. Other things you can do, I found this out in testing, is that you can also ready one of your attack cards. So let's say let's say you were attacking with a 10k guy. Let's take Gogeta for example, and you swing with him on your turn, right? And you also have a Defiler, or you don't even have to have a Defiler. right? And you have a certain amount of energy. So let's say you have 2 energy. You have 2 energy in active mode. What you can do is when they attack your Janemba, you can go Zarbon and then ready your 10k combo shield guy, and then and this is only when you have low amounts of cards in your hand. You can actually use him for combo power to survive. So Zarbon acts as a Zarbon's a very interesting card because it allows you to use cards that were once in rest mode as cards you can use for combo power on your opponent's turn, so that you could survive longer. So I know I spoiled some of the deck already, but it doesn't really matter that much. So yeah, of course, so now you guys know I play the Inferno Villainy Cell, and I also play the Town Hero Gohan. This is essential because your leader mills. Your leader mills so that you're able to utilize the Sparking 5 ability to survive longer. So, and then here's the Shenron. So I also play Sensu-Bean. I think it's a staple in almost every blue leader nowadays, just because you can survive longer. And I play Dimensional Magic, no surprise there. So I truly believe that blue is one of those counter meta colors. And the reason why I think this is because you can play cards like Mafuba. Mafuba was a really big extra card in this deck because there's a lot of times where Shenron could have killed me, but because I play Mafuba, I can just Mafuba the triple attacker, and then it ends their turn, and then Shenron's forced to flip over after their turn ends, and then it allows me to capture the victory because Shenron's at 10k now, so it's much easier to win. Another blue card you can play against Shenron is Group Leader Pilaf. You can use this to shut off even Storm as well. You can shut off the swap mechanic, just for the turn though. And you can also shut off anything, any keyword that you want. So things like triple attack or triple strike. So if Shenron, like again, gives something triple attack, you can shut off the triple attack or you can shut off the triple strike, depending on the situation. I had an instance where someone, well, I got lucky, but I had this in my hand, and then someone attacked with me with their Demigra, so that I negated his Demigra and I took out the triple attack, triple strike, and then I took 1 damage, and I got Mafuba off the. Actually, yeah, no, I didn't get the Mafuba. I got a super combo, and the super combo got me another Pilaf, and then he attacks me with, and I had 4 life. So he tries to get me down to 1 life instead of attacking me with a triple striker. And so I super comboed, and then I comboed 5k with the Pilaf that I used to negate the Demigra to survive. And then after that, he then brings out a 2-cost Goku. So he brings out this guy, and he tries to hit me down to 3. So I take the 1 damage, and I got Mafuba, and then he attacks me with the triple strike Gogeta with triple attack, and I just Mafuba it. So there's a lot of my point of what I'm trying to say is that having counter blue cards allows me to survive against Shenron, and Shenron has to flip over as a result after conducing their turn. And another card you can play is Soul Supervisor, which you can just put cards that you don't want in your opponent's drop area back to their deck, so they can't revive it off of Child's Wish. So you have cards that allow you to interact with Shenron in a way to stop you from killing you. So those are the blue part. For the actual win conditions, you play cards, and I've already shown it already. You can play cards like the 4 Gokus. So he's 20k, and the reason why I play him is because he's also revivable off of Figures of Majesty, Shenron. So you can also play this off your Shenron because he's a 2-cost, and he's also a 20k base stat, so that you can Union Fusion, and I've already showed you guys the Gogeta. You can Union Fusion because Union Fusion requires that you have a Son Goku and a Vegeta of the same power. So you can utilize Union Fusion. And then the Vegetas, I'll show you what I play. So I play at all cost Vegeta. You need a way to awaken in this deck. So I play at all cost Vegeta to take 2 life and awaken so that I could start hitting for 20k with my leader. So He's a really great card. Everybody knows how great he is. He's also a 20k base stat, so you can also do Union Fusion. So I play a lot of, and then I play Deadly Defender. I don't play two. I needed to make room, so I ended up cutting him for a lot of cards, including including his vanilla version. So these are all 20k 20k Union Fusion targets. So you can actually just pitch them from your hand to bring out the Gogeta from your hand for cheaper costs. I play two Gogetas, so you definitely need some way to hand control in this game. Yeah, you definitely need a way to hand control in this game, so that your opponent doesn't go out of control with their hand. It's a win condition. Other ways to recover for the cell chain, I also consider cell chain, is play the 5-drop Gogeta, which allows you to draw 2 cards and spin away 2 of their cards. So you can spin away the big cell or any other cards that they might have, and then you can recover. So it's a really great recovery card. And I only play 2 of it. You can also Union Fusion as well. And if you're playing blue, you have to play this All-Inspiring Vegito just to survive and get to later turns. This is a very late game win kind of deck, where you just beat them with these 2 cards or other cards. As a tech of mine I played is Super Saiyan Blue Vegito. So in the event that I have both the Goku and the Vegeta on the board that has already attacked, so say I've already attacked with these 2 already, you can then put Tora Fusion and then overlay them on top for 5 energy. So you just like literally take them off the board and then put him in active mode, and he attacks twice and double strike with crit, and he has 30k. He's really impressive. Unfortunately I don't play 1. I wanted to make this like an even amount of Vegetos and an even amount of Gogeta. I play 5 and 5. And the 5th card I play is the Ultimate Rare, or the Secret Rare, Gogeta. He's interesting because what you can do is, say you've already attacked with your Gogeta. You've already attacked with him. What you can do is X-Evolve him for free, but the only cost that you have to do is to pitch all your hand. And oftentimes if you're trying to kill your opponent, you can just combo all your hand prior to X-Evolving. And so you just basically X-Evolve him for free without discarding anything. So you X-Evolve him, and then what he does is he can ready himself, if you have 15 cards in your drop area at least, to put 1 Son Goku and 1 Vegeta back in your deck to restand him. So he's kind of like an anti-Janemba card a little bit, the mill Janemba, where they force you to mill out your entire deck. He can put back Son Gokus and Vegetas back into your deck so that you can not get milled out in that event, and then you can attack again. So it's crucial that you have every time that you restand him, you have to have 15 cards in your drop area in order to restand him. So even if you're putting back Son Goku and Vegeta, you still have to have 15 later in order to restand him. So he keeps attacking. He has critical, deflect, and Union Fusion. So you can also pay him, bring him in really cheaply. Yeah, and that's the deck profile. This was kind of like a really fun deck actually, because it utilizes all the fusions. I think I played 5 and 5. I'm pretty sure I was correct about that. So I played 5 Vegetas, and then I played 5 Vegetos, which is these. So I played 5 Vegetas. Yeah, so that was a deck. It's a really cool, fun deck. I had a lot of fun playing it, and I was surprised that I was able to win against Shenron with this deck, even though I did have like a lot of ways to counter them with the 2 Mafubas, the 2 Pilafs, and the Soul Supervisor King Yama. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile. I'm sure it was really interesting in some cases, and if it wasn't, well then hopefully you'll find something else interesting. Have a good day, guys. Peace.